Hey guys, this is Mark Dabney, Man Talk with Mr. D once again. New content coming at you. This is consistent discipline. That's my talk for today is consistent discipline. I had an encounter this week. I'm also told you guys I'm a school teacher. Had an encounter this week and last week and also today in church dealing with young men. What I noticed that young men, which I already noticed is why I started this channel. However, young men truly need consistent discipline. And when I say discipline, I'm not talking about coming down on them, beating them down and that kind of stuff. It's just pulling up beside them, let them know that they're a little gorilla, with all these muscles and stuff, and they want to exercise their power. But you got to know when you're the old man, like I do with this silver gray beard, I'm called a silverback gorilla. And I let them exercise themselves, but when I'm in charge, I let them know that I'm in charge. But I do it in a way where I'm not raising my voice at them, but where they get to understand that there's an order to life. And that is another thing young men need to understand through discipline, is there's an order to life. They have to know, play their position. Just like on a football team or any team that you play, you must play your position. And I say that this week I had the young man. I told him not to do something. He just kept doing it. And I felt as if he was trying to be defiant, which he was. And I just pulled him up in front of the class. Well, not in front of the class, but by my desk. And I just talked to him in a real calm voice. But it was very authoritative, and he understood that. And I was just asking him pointed questions, and he wanted to talk out of pocket. And I told him, I said, young man, did I ask you a question? If I did not ask you a question, do not speak, because I am the one that's speaking and teaching you right now. I say you are in a mode of learning. So therefore, your objective is to listen. You have 2 ears and 1 mouth. So listen twice as much as you speak. He was sitting there. He was furious, but he wasn't disrespecting, and I told him, I said, now, if I'm telling you something, my expectations, and you keep defying them, I said, are you disrespecting me? He didn't want to answer, but he knew he was. Yes, sir. I said, okay. I said, have I disrespected you? No, sir. I said, then why would you just disrespect me? I keep asking you the same thing over and over. I said, so you just going to do what you want to do. I said, in life, you cannot do that. I said, because if you do that, you don't have any discipline. You cause chaos. You cause accidents. And you hurt people because you won't follow a structured way of life. I said, we all want to do what we want to do. I said, but there's a time and there's a place to do everything. So therefore, he stood there and I had to put the pressure on him because he's a leader in his own right, but he just wanted to lead in the wrong way. Just want to do what he wanted because I don't think he have the discipline at home. So therefore, I just made him stand there. Even after I was finished talking, I said, I need you to stand here until I'm tired. Yeah, I said, since you disrespected me, now you're going to do what I say do. So now that you understand who's in charge, okay? I said, you have options. You have choices. You can do what you want to do. I said, but there's consequences that come with that. All right? So he stood there. Then he started talking again. That defiance. Can I go back to my seat now? I said, no, I'm not tired yet. So he stood there. I said, just stand there. I'll let you know. And he stood there. And then I finally let him go. But he had me a couple of periods later. So I remember what I did to him. So I know he think because I put the authority on him and the discipline that I was mad at him. Like most young men, we tend to think that. Even mid-grown men tend to think that because they never got into discipline when they were growing up. But I saw an opportunity to put him in charge to do something for me. I did that, and then he come back. He had calmed his tone down. He was chill. He was respectful. He did what I asked him to do, been asking him to do for the first 2 weeks. So he started doing it in my class. He raising his hand, answering questions. And I was like, okay, that's what it is. So you have to be disciplined. You have to teach young men discipline because all the hard things in life, they put men to do. That's why we have a short life expectancy, right? They send us off to war, right? You must be disciplined in war. Although it's a chaotic discipline when the bullets start flying. But however, we need young men to be disciplined, to be able to follow the plan that the leaders have put forth, right? And that is what we need to do with our young men. I had another opportunity today at church. A young man, we were in church. And, of course, they're not used to going to church. He listened to the preacher. And the preacher getting ready to bring the word. And, out of honor and respect to God, to those, the elders around you, you're supposed to stand when the preacher's reading the word. Depends on your church. At least at this church, that's what they did. He was there, and I could tell he didn't want to be there. He was trying to go to sleep. His grandmother getting on him. So I just kind of told him, leaned over to him. I said, look here. I said, the reason we stand is because we honor God and his word, right, when it's being read. I said, okay. He got up. He stood up and did his thing. He was fighting to sleep the whole time. However, I talked to him after service and just told him, I said, you want to hear what's being said. I said, you want to be able to understand what the preacher's talking about, understand who God is. Now, I don't know if he ever come to know Jesus Christ, the Lord and Savior or not, but he can always show respect. And I say all of this to say young men need that discipline. They need a loving discipline. They need somebody to care enough to tell them, this is why you need to do this. It's one thing to discipline a kid, but never tell them why. Because I was that kid when I was growing up. I always want to know why. And I'm still like that as an adult. Even in a setting, at my job, whatever the case may be. Dumb stuff is said, and I'm just wondering, I'm looking around, I'm thinking to myself, why? I answer the why. Because if a young man understands why he must be disciplined, he'll sit and think about it for a while, and then he'll conform to that because it starts to make sense to him. Or there'll be a situation that'll come up that help him to see what you were saying or the elder was saying about discipline benefits him and his situation, right? We all could use some discipline. That is for sure. We wonder why the world is in chaos because they have no discipline. Why we don't succeed because we have no discipline. Even right now, I want this channel to blow up. I got to be disciplined. And so therefore, that's why I'm out here today. And it just prompted me. We need to teach young men some loving discipline. Loving discipline, not just discipline, just knock them side the head, beat them down, making you like the military, do just mean push up, but you never tell them why. There always needs to be a why. We need to learn to use communication, a disciplined communicating way to explain why we need to do this. Don't just do it because I said do it. Yes, that is because you are the authority, but the authority, if you want them to do it, you should explain to them why you want them to do it. That's as a parent, as a teacher, as a pastor, whatever capacity you are in authority, there should be an explanation of why you want it to be done. You're a dictator when you just give some orders, but you don't want nobody to ask you why. That's a dictator. You know what happened to dictators? Their history, it shows you, you know what I'm saying? They're going to abuse the people. But our young men need discipline. They need the loving discipline from men. Okay? They need a man somebody that looks like them, that's bigger than them, older than them, should be wiser than them to teach them the way. They cannot learn it by osmosis. If they don't learn it from those who are working regular jobs, highly educated jobs, entrepreneurs, and things like that, if we don't give something back in the form of discipline, we would continue to have a whole bunch of drug dealers and thugs out here robbing, running into stores like they're doing now, and just stealing people's property. That's because there was no discipline in the home. There has to be discipline. There has to be order. We are living in a society, when I look at it as a whole, it is undisciplined. I ask the questions all the time about why did this happen? Why people want a quick way out of something. I said, but we never deal with preventive measures. How can we prevent these things being disciplined as human beings? It doesn't only apply to young men. However, my channel is based upon Man Talk with Mr. D. And Mr. D is giving you that straight talk right now. You must be disciplined in your craft. You must be disciplined as a parent. If the parents are not disciplined, guess what? The children will not be disciplined. I see it all the time. I look at the kids at school and I tell them sometimes, I say, your house is chaotic, isn't it? The kids be looking at me, how did you know, Mr. Dabney? How do I know? I'm looking at you. I said, because you are a kid and you only learning when those who are older than you doing the same thing that they're doing. I said, so we need some discipline. It needs to be consistent. So you can't do it one day and then expect for it to reverberate within the child or the young person if it's not done on a consistent basis. Like my students in my class, they must say, yes, sir, no, sir. Of course, they kids, they trying to get around that any way they can. Whenever they respond to me, I ask them a question. They respond to me, yeah. I'm like, who is that? Or what's that? I don't understand that. I said, I don't understand that language. They go, oh, yes, sir. You can't chew gum in my class. The discipline is, the expectation is you cannot chew gum in my class. Why? Did I give them the why? I did. The discipline. Because as a young person, you get excited about what you're doing and you take it, the sweetness is gone, you stick it up under my desk, you stick it on my floor, and you won't pick it up. But Mr. Dabney, you do it. I say, I'm an adult. I'm an authority. This is my class. I don't want to be messed up. Do you think I'm just going to be talking and drop the gum on the floor and not pick it up? No, sir. I said, but you will. No, I won't, Mr. I said, yes, you will. I said, I've been a kid. I understand that because you're more excited about what you're doing than the discipline. So I must keep you disciplined. So those are the types of things I'm talking about. You must discipline our young people. Discipline takes, if you have children, discipline, hear me when I tell you this, discipline is 24/7. You don't get the chance to break. You don't get a break. You must constantly discipline them, teach them, because they are the next generation. They are the next generation coming. Because if you don't discipline them now, hear me, you're going to have some sleepless nights. You're going to be, and unfortunately, you're going to be at the jail. You're going to be at the morgue. Because they're undisciplined. Discipline is key to life. Discipline is a key to success. You must do consistent disciplines day in and day out to become successful. Although you may fail in some of those endeavors, you must never quit if that is your objective, is to be successful. So listen to me, ladies and gentlemen. Today is consistent, loving discipline. Please, If you like what I'm telling you, subscribe to this channel, Man Talk with Mr. D. Subscribe, like, please share. And also, check it out on anywhere else you may catch it, on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok. All right, so this is Mr. D signing off until next time when we chop it up again. All right, goodbye. God bless. Bye now.